I want to know if you've ever been influenced by like either an influencer or just like a health trend.
Well, not so much influence, but, I've spent my life wishing that I had a six-pack abdomen. Is that being influenced, I suppose? And all I've ever been able to achieve is a Pinot Noir abdomen. So, that's been my aspiration, how to get it.
The reason why we're having this conversation is because producer Shelby Trainer, who helps us with our research, has been influenced by this week's topic.
And this week's topic is, do collagen supplements work?
We have had this question from Janine, Claire, Belinda, Natasha and Trish, which makes me feel like, that song Mambo No. 5? A little bit of Monica's what I like. I got a snort out of you. That's a real treat. They're all asking, are collagen supplements worth taking for your skin and general health?
So they must be watching somebody on YouTube or social or...
I do think we should call it out. They're all female names. I think that this stuff is marketed really heavily towards women. I certainly get a lot of it. Do you get much of it?
No, because I don't go on social.
But yeah, it's marketed to women. We can talk about the claims more broadly in a sec, but I think one of the big claims around collagen is skin elasticity, looking younger. It's a beauty supplement.
And like a lot of things, there's science behind this. As we age, so the integrity of our skin, how solid our skin looks, how many creases we've got, the age of our skin is partly determined by the collagen underneath.
Because collagen is like a protein that gives our skin structure. Is that right?
It's a much misunderstood substance.
Okay, well, maybe we need to talk about what it is.
Yeah, because there's multiple forms of collagen and they all work in slightly different ways. So we tend to think of collagen, when you think of collagen, most people quite rightly think of connective tissue. Like
you're literally holding your skin together.
Well, it's not our skin together, it's like the tissues under our skin.
Okay.
But it's collagen's involved in blood clotting. It provides the structure for blood clots. It actually holds the cells of our body together. So the organs of our bodies are held together by different kinds of collagen. It actually we think of this as an inert substance, that all it does is actually provide fullness for our skin, but it actually integrates between our cells, and there's evidence that it helps cells to communicate and talk to each other. There's some evidence...
How?
That it's an active tissue and it transmits chemicals and messengers and can interfere with that or not. Some people believe that there are forms of collagen which make certain cancers hard to treat because they're so active they throw out the chemotherapy drugs. So collagen has lots of stuff going on in the body. What our many What's That Rashers are asking about is the collagen that holds the tissues under our skin together. But there's collagen in our muscles, for example. And when our muscles get weakened and damaged and age, muscle tissue is replaced by collagen. And therefore, that's one reason why our muscles get weaker. So
because of the collagen in your muscles?
Yes, so we get worried about the loss of collagen in our skin. But in fact, in some situations, you can get collagen replacing muscle tissue. So collagen is actually the problem, not the answer.
For about a minute there, you had me really on board with collagen, and now I'm scared of it again.
Well, it's not getting scared of it. It's just that it's complicated. And what we're being asked is, do collagen supplements help when it comes to your appearance?
So collagen is like a strand sort of structure, isn't it?
Yes, in most situations.
And so I guess my question is, if something is like quite a big molecule, how much can you actually access it in that finished format of like being collagen? Because wouldn't it get broken down in your body or be too big to sort of be entered into your body and synthesized by it? When we're talking about collagen supplements, are they collagen or are they like precursors? Like when we talked about NAD plus a couple of weeks ago, we talked about precursors, the sort of building blocks that your body uses to make that substance.
Before I answer that question, I just need to explain what we're talking about here in the skin. or under the skin as we age. So 2 or 3 things are happening here. One is, as you age, the cells that produce collagen, which are called fibroblasts, reduce in number. So you lose these cells. So you've got fewer cells producing collagen as you age. When you expose yourself to the sun, the ultraviolet light damages these fibroblasts and they produce less collagen. So there's damage and there's aging, and those things work together. And then there's your lifestyle as well. So smoking reduces collagen production and damages collagen production. And there are other things which might enhance it, which is related to nutrition.
Oh, I better grab my friend the Mediterranean diet bell. I have a feeling I'm going to need her in a second.
Lost my train of thought here because I'm terrified of the bell. So come back to your question about collagen supplements. It's really controversial. Let's look at muscle, for example. Before we get to collagen, let's look at muscle. We know when you exercise, particularly resistance exercise, food is a stimulant to muscle growth in addition to the resistance exercise.
Oh, so you do a workout, you're working your muscles. We think about that a lot when it comes to building muscle. But what you're saying is eating protein is also a signal to the body to build muscle.
And it gives the body the raw material to build the muscle. So whilst the natural reaction to collagen supplements is to be skeptical about them, why would it be any different for connective tissue, the tissue that holds the body together? Why wouldn't that be stimulated by your diet? And because there are protein building blocks called amino acids, which are used to make collagen.
Oh, because it's a protein. It's not an analogy, yeah. It's literally a protein,
and
yes.
2 of the amino acids are hydroxyproline and proline, but there are others as well. Now, if you look at food types that are biased towards those amino acids, milk actually has a lot of proline and hydroxyproline when you look at the league table of foods that contain this. So if you actually take in these amino acids, could it promote collagen synthesis? And then there's the whole collagen itself.
So as a supplement, you're taking a whole collagen. What is that even doing in the body?
Yeah, well, one form of that is gelatin.
Oh.
Jilly, as we would say in Scotland.
Jilly.
Because that's there's a lot of collagen in gelatin.
Oh, I'm seeing the little girl on the swing. She was right when she said it was a health food.
And the thing about collagen is the body doesn't really break it down when you in the digestive system. You think, well, acid and enzymes break down the collagen. It doesn't get broken down that much. And consequently, we don't absorb that much of it. We maybe absorb 10% of whole collagen.
Well, if you're having jelly, sorry, just to clarify, if you're talking about gelatin and eating jelly as a form of collagen, what you're saying is, yeah, fine, it is collagen, you can eat it, it tastes good, but you're not actually getting much collagen.
You're not getting
from
much whole collagen absorbed is the evidence. And then the question is, even with what's absorbed, does that stimulate collagen production? There is a little bit of evidence that it might stimulate some forms of collagen. Remember, the collagens that we're interested in are by and large collagen type 1 and collagen type 3. It doesn't matter what they are, but those are the ones that seem to be involved in that sort of tissue integrity that affects your appearance. Then some people said, well, what happens when you take the raw material, so say the amino acids that produce that, and also vitamin C helps to produce collagen as well. And what happens when you take them? Is there evidence that when you take those, if you like, precursors, the raw material for collagen, does that actually increase the production of collagen? And there's not strong evidence that it does. There's a little bit of evidence that it does, but not strong evidence that it does.
So this is supplements. This is supplementing with precursors, and you're saying it's not doing much. So what can you do?
Well, when you look at the tissue itself in the laboratory, taken out of the body, and you look at what stimulates collagen production, it's true that if you add the precursors, the raw material for collagen, that does stimulate production. But mechanical stress in the tissue, stretching, pulling, seems to stimulate the fibroblasts to produce collagen.
So wait, are you telling me I need to is this why gua sha works? Does gua sha work?
Well,
Do you know?
we
You know
can
what I'm
have a
talking about?
randomized trial. Yeah, with sort of the facial massage thing.
Yeah, yeah, like the jade scrapey thingy.
Well, can we come back to that?
Okay.
Don't let me forget it. Let me just. So, the idea here is that mechanical stress can produce collagen, increase the production of collagen. And what they've shown with muscle strengthening is that when you take the precursors for muscle building, which is protein, which would include the sort of precursors for connective tissue, and you take that in association with resistance exercise, muscle strengthening exercises, you also get growth of connective tissue. The collagen grows.
So should I be doing like muscle strengthening exercises on my face if I want to have less wrinkles?
Well, if you smile a lot, you get
more wrinkles.
Exactly. So I'm not sure about it on the face, but actually in terms of what counts, which is muscle strength, where you want maximal muscle strength and you want the strong integrity around the muscles, then physical exercise can improve collagen production under the skin.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is collagen good. Like it's not a collagen is important for your body's integrity, and also it is important part of your skin looking juicy.
Although there are some parts of your body where too much collagen is not good, such as in your muscles.
And supplements, either in the whole form or precursor form, aren't doing much, but moving is. My question is, if I'm going for a run, is that increasing collagen production in my whole body and my face will look younger as a result of it? Or is it only improving it in the muscles that are involved in running?
Nobody knows the answer to that question. So they've studied resistance exercises itself and then done muscle biopsies. So if you've done weight training, for example, and then done biopsies, connective tissue seems to grow, collagen seems to grow, as well as muscle tissue. Whether or not when you go for a run, you're actually making yourself look younger would probably as much depend on whether you're using blockout.
Well, that's true. And I do. And it definitely makes me look redder and shinier. So gua sha, you promised.
Well, that's passive, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're still like, I don't know, you're kind of manipulating your skin. I don't know what it's meant to be doing. I think it's lymphatic drainage. I wonder if there's any collagen involved in that process. I haven't tried it.
No. Should we start a trend here?
Should we start it? We should do an N=2. Actually, no. Right. Oh my gosh. We should do half our face each.
Oh, that's
and
right.
And then see which side looks smoother.
Which is your best side?
I feel like this side is my best side.
Yeah. I think my left side's the best side. So I'll do my right and
you
do your
all
left.
Right. And then we'll come in and look like Two-Face from Batman. Okay. So we've talked supplements. That's not much use. The jury's still out. We still need to do our study on whether facial manipulation does anything. What about like real food? What can we do in our diet to help with collagen production?
Well, fish, chicken, regular meats will have collagen in them. And so you're getting a reasonable dose there.
But you're saying it's not well absorbed.
It's not necessarily well absorbed from there. That's the fibrous material in it, but you will get some from it. There's various forms of gelatin, and there's bone. So people are taking bone broth, for example,
I've heard
to get their collagen precursors. And there's been a study of that, and bone broth doesn't consistently give you the full spectrum of precursors that you actually are looking for if you're serious about taking collagen precursors. Milk, funnily enough, contains quite a lot of hydroxyproline and proline.
I'm hearing a lot of animal products here. Like, what if you don't want to have meat or you don't want to have any, like, what if you're vegan? Are there any options there?
Well, I think you probably have to take synthetic amino acids, the amino acids themselves.
Isn't that CMOS stuff collagen? So, I mean, I'm looking at CMOS and people selling it and they're like, yeah, it's great for you. It helps build collagen. It's rich in amino acids. So, I don't know.
Well, things can be rich in amino acids. Are they rich in the amino acids that are truly the precursors of collagen? And as we say, the two key ones are hydroxyproline and proline. And if you look at the data here, it's dairy where you're getting a lot of it from. So milk is the highest, casein and whey. Egg is much lower, beef is much lower in terms of those particular amino acids. So dairy is actually where you get a lot of it from in an easily absorbable form.
Okay. Is this just, I know the answer is yes. Is this just another thing for us to be worried about. Like, we've been eating real food for basically since we evolved, and people's limbs rarely fall off by themselves. Like, how important is focusing on collagen in and of itself versus just all the things that we already know about just eating a healthy diet and moving our bodies?
It turns out that the sort of things that you would do, you want to keep your muscles as strong as possible for as long as possible in your life. And that is going to build up collagen, at least next to the muscles. But we've got muscles everywhere in our bodies. And to your point earlier, or your question earlier, we don't know whether there's a side effect on our face of strengthening the muscles in our arms and legs. A well-balanced vegetarian diet is likely, particularly through dairy, to give you the precursors that you're looking for from collagen. It might be harder for people who are vegan to do that, but not impossible. And then there are the environmental toxins for collagen, which are probably far more important than anything, which is how much sunlight are you allowing on your skin? Are you smoking? Are you living in an area where you've got high levels of fine particulate air pollution, which is just like smoking and causing inflammation and affecting your collagen production? And again, it's also genetics.
We're talking about sunlight, smoking, and then also what we're putting in our body, whether it's supplements or whole foods. But surely genetics has a role to play here. Like, some people just look younger than other people at the same age. I don't know, just because they have better skin or something.
That's true, but you've got to separate out the environment from that. Are they looking younger because they've stayed out of the sun for life? Have they grown up in a family which has stayed out of the sun? And yes, genetics almost certainly will play a part. Genetics plays a part in almost everything to do with the human body, usually at a level of around 60 or 70%. So you could probably say that 50, 60, 70% of our collagen in our bodies is genetically determined in terms of its production and so on, how fast we lose fibroblasts. There's bound to be genetics involved, but there's a lot of environment too.
So coming back to Janine, Claire, Belinda, Natasha and Trish, what do we say to them about collagen supplements?
Well, I think you've got to look at what's in the supplements. If they're the precursors, like the amino acids, hydroxyproline and proline, and if you've got enough vitamin C on board, but not through supplements, through eating
Mediterranean diet,
then there is a possibility that you are increasing collagen production there. But you want to be exercising, you want to be staying out of the sun and doing everything else. If you are smoking a lot and hoping for some supplement to help you out with your collagen, forget it. Stop smoking first. So it's not a mad idea. There is some substance potentially to it, unlikely to be doing you any harm.
So it's mailbag time, Norman.
Yeah.
And this week I want to focus on, we had quite a bit of feedback on our episode on melatonin, which we did quite a few weeks ago now. A GP wrote in saying... As
in general practitioner rather than
just
Jeffrey...
Gregory Peck.
Yeah, right.
Wrote in saying, Norman... cough, cough, I think your privilege is showing, and I felt I needed to explain the issue with melatonin and why you can't just get it on a script. So this GP has said after they've exhausted all the conservative options, melatonin is available on a script as Circadian in Australia. It's a tablet, 2 milligrams sustained release, and it's $36 for 30 tablets. You can get it compounded in other strengths, but likely you'd be looking at $30 per month. You often need to buy 100 at a time to make the compounding cost effective. And the issue this doctor calls out is that a lot of people need a different dose. And this person encourages patients to go to a specific company online that has gummies, dissolvables, gluten-free melatonin so that they don't have to take it in a tablet form, an extended release, and you can get 60 for $4.16. So, I mean, what do you say to that?
Well, with all due respect to our general practitioner colleague, I don't think we can recommend online purchasing of any drug because the evidence is you don't know what you're getting. The level of counterfeit drugs in the online market is huge, and you can just be you might get no melatonin, or you might get drugs that you might not wish to consume in your body. I mean, I would be going to a regular pharmacy, albeit even a compounding pharmacy who are taking real melatonin and compounding it into different forms. That's fair enough. But online, I wouldn't be doing it.
So you're doubling down on your privilege. You stand by your...
I'm standing by my privilege.
Caitlin's also messaged in saying She asked her GP, I wonder if it's the same one, to prescribe melatonin, and his response was that while he'd happily do it, it wasn't covered by PBS, and I'd save a lot of money getting it online for a quarter of the cost. He gave me the name of a website he trusted and has been managing the dosage just like any other drug. I would love if Caitlin's GP was our GP, but maybe it's actually just more widespread than we thought that your GP is perhaps recommending this.
Who knows? I just think you just got to be prudent. And how do you know that the online supplier is a reliable supplier and there's melatonin in there? I'm not sure how you know that.
Well, if you would like to challenge Norman's privilege on any of the topics we discuss on What's That Rash, you can send us an email anytime. We are thatrash@abc.net.au.
Yeah, just hit me. But the best way to hit us is subscribe to the ABC Science YouTube channel.
Yep, subscribe to ABC Science on YouTube, or you can listen to us on the ABC Listen app. Just search for What's That Rash?